Okay, I may not upload this. I may not have the fortitude. I don't know. I thought I'd turn the camera on, or maybe we'll see what happens. I'm a little nervous right now. I'm trying to calm my nerves right now. I just poured myself a cup of tap water. My breathing is a little irregular. This is the kind of... I just went out to get the mail, and I found a letter from the Nebraska Service Center, U.S. Customs and Immigration Service. It's what I've been waiting for. You know, they're the ones that are processing the first part of my wife's immigration stuff to bring her over. And I haven't heard from them, except for a receipt letter that I got after I sent them the initial stuff at the beginning of May, so about 3 months. It's supposed to take 5 months to process. I don't know what this is. So I had to calm my nerves. You know, I had to sit down as I was walking back from the mailbox. I tell myself, okay, Kurt, be ready for, you know, good or bad. I mean, there are some things, I haven't talked about them. There are some things that could pose problems. For example, I'm always good about doing my taxes every year, but I had in 2012, you know, when I was living in Japan, I still had to file taxes in the United States. And in 2012, when I went to file my taxes, I was using my credit card in Japan, and it wouldn't take it. This tax software I was using wouldn't take it. And I thought, oh well, I'll get a credit card in the United States and take care of it. And you know how those things go. And then before long, it was the next tax year, and I filed the tax year. So there was a skip in my tax filing, and I learned, and I took care of that since I got back. Took care of that. As soon as I got this stuff in the mail, I went and took care of the taxes. So I'm all caught up on my taxes. But I've been a little bit worried that since I filed this first and the tax thing second, I read somewhere that if you're not current on your taxes, that could delay things. And I was really panicked about that. So I took care of that, got that taken care of, express mail in the same. And I've been worried ever since that would slow things up. And then I was anxious, you know, maybe I should have used a lawyer from the beginning. And it's so straightforward and simple, but you know, money is an issue, so be tight on that. So so I'm walking back and I'm thinking of all the things that could be in this letter that are holding things up. I don't know. So I just said, okay, Kurt, you know, this is how life is sometimes. You know, there's these things, and I'm trying to, even though time is running out, you know, it's a skill that will last me in the time that I have left, I hope, trying to learn to maintain perspective and control of my emotions and my thoughts. And so I just put the letter aside for a little bit. Have another drink of tap water. And remember that my wife and I, we're doing the best that we can. And if this letter's got good news, then wonderful. If it's got bad news, then we'll address it, we'll consider it. Bring in legal or bring in assistance as needed, whether it's accounting, tax assistance, or a lawyer for other things, and come up with a strategy and move forward to the next step. If it means further delays, then that's what it means. And that's the best we can do. You know, like as a project manager, you know, trying to wannabe project manager, you know, there's this thing called the critical path, you know, which is the path, the points that must happen along the way. And things like this could be disruptions in the critical path. You know, something that is, there are things that can slow things down, like the delay that I had with a motorcycle, you know, getting a vehicle. That, if it was laid out on a Gantt chart as a project plan, you know, the start of the project is my arrival in Japan, the end of the project is my family's arrival in Japan, the goal is the complete family arrival in Japan. Along the critical path is the steps that are required to get my wife's green card so that she can come over. You know, secondary and tertiary tasks along that route as well are things like getting a credit card, establishing credit here, buying a vehicle, getting a place to live. All those things really, if there are a delay on those things, they don't slow down. They don't really greatly impact. They don't impact at all. The main goal, which is the project goal, which is to get my wife and family here, So they're not on the critical path. They're important things, but they're not on the critical path. So their delay are not the big ones. This one's on the critical path. And even though I don't even know what it is, that's why it has that pitter-patter effect. So, also let's go ahead and open it up and find out what it is, shall we? Or as Adam would say, shall you? Join me, shall you? I used the Nebraska. The reason it took me a moment when I pulled this out of the mailbox, I was like, Nebraska Service Center, what's this? Nebraska Service. I remembered. It's the green card stuff. Okay, first it says, this notice does not grant any immigration status or benefit. Petition for alien fiance has been received by office for the following beneficiaries and is in process. Suzuki Yumiko, class amendment. Please verify your personal information listed above and immediately notify the United States Customs and Immigration Service National Service Center at the phone number below if there are any changes or if you really didn't like the movie Shrek. Please note that if a priority date is printed on this notice, the priority does not reflect earlier, blah, blah, blah. No, Kurt. No, blah, blah, blah. You read everything. That's another thing that I'm trying to engage myself in, is attention to detail where appropriate. You know, sometimes the secondary things, you can squeeze it over, but you got to read everything for this stuff. If you have questions about possible immigration benefits and services, filing information, or the correct way to floss, please call the USCIS, I think it's like this, not like that, National Service Center. Here's our number. If you're hearing impaired, we'll yell loud. Sorry. I'm sorry if you're hearing impaired. I'm thinking impaired. Please call us at the this is special service for the hearing impaired. I'm sorry for any insensitivity with that. Please also refer to our website. If you have any questions or comments regarding this notice or the status of your case, please contact our customer service number. You will be notified separately about any other case you have filed. Look at the other detail. Let me make sure that the information they have for me is correct. How in the world did they know about my new address? Oh! Receipt. This is for the I-129F. Rock and roll. And total balance due, $0. That lawyer I talked to. I talked to this lawyer. I called him up. It was visapros.com. And website handling visa stuff. I called them up. I got this woman with an accent. I think she was an attorney or a paralegal or something like that. And she spent like 20 minutes with me on the phone. She asked, I called this website up, I wanted to ask them about engaging them for their service. And I called them up, and didn't even go through a phone tree. Just a woman answered the phone, and hello, how are you? I'm not teasing her accent. I'm just illustrating. Hello, yes, when? And she asked my name. She asked all the information. She wasn't hurried to get me off the phone. Totally, just. It was like she was my sister-in-law that happened to be an immigration lawyer, and she was just helping me with everything, laying it out straight and clear. And she told me she said, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I got two things going on at once. Let me finish this thing. Anyway, she totally helped me out. I said, can you guys help me out? Do I need your lawyer, your service to help me out? And she says, no, your case is pretty simple and straightforward. We don't think, I don't think you're going to need our services. I think you just need to fill out these forms and you'll be good to go. I was so impressed. And afterwards I was like, I want to just thank you. This, what you've done, I wasn't so wordy, but I really thanked her, and I've been appreciative ever since. And she was right on the money. This is a different form. Okay, the standard form for a green card is called the I-130 form, and just a little bit of immigration information if you're curious. The I-130 is the form to get in. Now, if you fill out the I-130, which is I-130 is a petition for alien connection or something like that. It's basically establishing the relationship between the person who wants to come to America and the person who will be the sponsor. And the sponsor could be a spousal citizen, either or a citizen, a natural-born citizen, or a citizen by naturalization. They have different categories for those. I could be sponsoring my spouse, my child, and it's pretty limited. I couldn't do my sister-in-law and stuff like that. They'd have to go in the normal thing. But anyway, all that I-130 is to establish that relationship. That sets the groundwork for later determining if they can come into the country. No, but that's the one that takes 5 months for the first stage, and then another 3 to 5 months for the second stage. Long time. So the U.S. government has this form here called the I-129F, called Petition for Alien Fiancés. It's really poorly worded because the fiancé really doesn't. Spouses apply too. That's one of the reasons I didn't fill this out originally. I thought that this was for fiancés, but it's not. It's for spouses too. Anyway, what this form does is the entire purpose of the I-129F is to avoid what my wife and I are experiencing right now, this long delay in separation. So the protocol is you fill out the I-130, submit that to the Department of Homeland Security. They start the process of doing the background checks, or we're doing to make sure that I'm really married to my wife. So I had to send birth certificates and marriage certificates and things like that. And then you fill out this I-129F and send it along. And what this does is this is a petition for a temporary visa to allow the alien spouse to come into the United States while the I-130 process is going along. So you kind of should do it. But what I was told was that this process takes as long as the first process. So that submitting the I-130 would take, it goes into the line. It's sent to the same place, the Nebraska Service Center. There's various service centers around the United States. I sent the same place, the Nebraska Service Center, which services where I live. So I-130 went in, it dropped in at month 1. It's 1 to 3 months in, and then I was under the impression that if you sent in the I-129F, it goes. Actually, a lawyer told me this. It goes in and then follows the same process. So, and if the I-130 gets to the 5 month marks and gets approved, it invalidates the I-129F. So that's why I was actually told don't file the I-129F because it's a broken system. But look at this. The I-129F this has been received, and it looks like they're in the process of processing. If they process this quickly, then that will fast track my wife to get herself. It's dawning on me. If this happens fast, then Yumiko might be able to get her green card, not her green card, but her what's called a K1 visa. There's something called a K3 visa, which is for fiance, but for spouse it's a K1. Then she could get a K1 visa to come over here and live while the rest of the green card processing is going on. Yippee! Oh my gosh, I hope that works out. If that happens, then this could fast track things. This is really good news. It's really good news. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read through the rest of this. And so guys, if you have any questions about it, I'm becoming familiar, and I believe it or not, I can't believe I'm actually remembering these things. I'll be happy to share with you what I learned. Yay! I can't wait. I'm going to call my wife and tell her what's going on too. So thanks guys for watching. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace, as not Japan, I guess Aussie says. Bye. No.